Hey guys, this is Cam315 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another Bleach Arc review video for you guys. And here we're here to talk the back half of the Soul Society arc, and it's typically titled the rescue portion of it. And man, was this arc something. Listen, altogether, this arc was one of the greatest anime arcs I have ever watched, man. This was insane. You have the fights, the great fights, the great moments, and then that plot twist at the end with Aizen, yo. I did not see this pretty much coming. Like, I did not. This was utterly insane. And this entire arc as a whole, one of the best arcs I have ever freaking watched in anime, period. Like, it's a top 10. It's a top 10. Hell, for me, right now, it's a damn top 5. Holy shit, man. This was a good ass arc. I cannot believe what I saw. The twists and turns were absolutely freaking shocking. And when you get to that Aizen twist, I'm telling you, man, I stayed up super damn late just to see this rest of the arc and see how it played out. And my God, was I absolutely just flabbergasted with what I experienced. And yes, this arc was where I'm a Bleach fan now, and I'm just like, I'm hooked on the story. I need to see more. I need more Bleach. This is kind of how I felt like when I got to the Arlong Park episode arc in One Piece. Just craziness, 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 craziness. So again, this is the Soul Society arc still, but it's titled the rescue portion. Now this covers chapters now this covers chapters pretty much 108 to 183, 83, while it goes from anime episodes 42 to 63. So yeah, that's the thing. Now, mind you, we were left on the whole thing about the cliffhanger of the getting the Bankai for what's his face and everything for Ichigo. And pretty much the thing is Yoraichi and Ichigo Ichigo has to learn and master Bankai in pretty much 3 days. Which even for the most skilled people, it takes people, even for the most skilled soul reapers, it takes them a long damn time to freaking master this and stuff like that. So that's kind of what he's doing. And what Yoraichi does is she pretty much makes him go against Zakensu, which is Ichigo's sword spirit, and he pretty much has to master it that way. We later see how Renji ends up showing up later to train to get stronger as well, to prepare for this, because now he has a new resolve and everything. And that's kind of leads into a whole backstory between Momo, Renji, and Isuru, which, it was a backstory of how explains how Momo gained this fascination with Aizen and everything, and pretty much got close to him and everything, which I'll talk to in a bit. Now, one of the major fights that we start this this portion of the arc off is Kurosuchi versus Urayu. And we kind of find out some things about Kurosuchi, is the fact that he is pretty much the lead guy in research and development for the Soul Society. And he did some experiments on some Quincy's, especially. You get the personal tie to Urayu, that he was the guy that did experiments and pretty much killed Urayu's grandfather, his master, the Quincy, and that was crazy. Mind you, this guy, Kurosuchi, he feels evil, but at the end of this arc, I'm shocked that he doesn't join Aizen. But I'm wondering if he will end up being a bad guy. But then again, he comes across a guy that likes to just do his own thing, just to do his own thing. I don't know. Now, his lieutenant, which is Nemo, um, you know, he kind of treats her like a dog, like pretty much a pet. And the sad part is Nemo is fine with that because she has affection for him. And it's like, yeah, I wish you could help this girl, man. But you get a great visual fight here. You know, you dive into more of the Quincy backstory of Urayu, the fact that the glove he's wearing is, if he takes it off, he pretty much would lose his powers of being a Quincy. And that's what he ends up doing because he has to defeat this guy, because it gets to the point where this dude uses his sword to pretty much, in a way, paralyze, or not paralyze, but sedate Urayu, and he can't move. But the difference is, it's like a tranquilizer, but the only difference is Urayu will still feel the damn pain. Like, good God, I know I've been freaking numbed and everything, but just imagine if you get numbed to the point, you know, you can't move your body or anything, but you still feel the damn pain. Like, that would be painful. And then that's when we see Kurosuchi's Bankai, which is just a grotesque looking thing. And then when we have Urayu untap his pretty much his Quincy powers by breaking his glove, and just gets to the max limits of what a Quincy can be, even though it's at the risk of him potentially losing his powers for good. He ends up defeating Kurosuchi. Now, he doesn't kill him, but he does enough damage to make Kurosuchi pretty much retreat. But Kurosuchi's like, you see, the problem is this. I layered poison gas in the area, so guess what? You'll die anyways. But Nemo ends up helping out and giving the antidote to Urayu, which keeps him alive. But then that's when Urayu, who's walking up these stairs, he runs into Tozen, another captain, who pretty much takes him out and arrests him and puts him in jail and stuff like that. Now, in the meantime, we get some more backstory. Again, we get the Momo backstory of like how she met Aizen, how, you know, it ties into Renji and Isuru and everything. And, you know, she ends up breaking out of prison. And we even see how Gen breaks Isuru out of prison as well. And we actually get to see who, you know, what Aizen said, who's the man responsible for killing him. And we find out that surprisingly, the man who killed Aizen was Toshiro. Now, when I was watching this real time, I was just like, there's no way this guy could have done it. Like, there's no way this guy really could have done this and killed Aizen, because he just feels like he's a noble character. He's too good of a character at heart, like, for that to do that. And then we even find out in the backstory that Toshiro and Momo, they were like childhood friends, or in a way, Toshiro looked up to Momo. Momo was actually older than him. And they were, you know, living together. They were friends and everything. And you're like, man, that hits the emotional strings and everything, where it's like, Momo might legitimately kill a friend because she thinks her friend killed her master. Pretty much, dare I say, she's in love with Aizen. At this point, well, what am I saying? I pretty much knew that this girl was in love with Aizen. You have to also wonder too, because I did watch another review before I made this video. You have to wonder if, when she went to Aizen's quarters, you have to wonder, did Aizen actually sleep with her, bro? Did he like lay the wood, pipe her up, do something where it's like she's just entranced in him, and she's just in love with him, which by pretty much by the reaction she takes, she's straight up in love with him, and Gen's there and everything, and it's kind of, you know, crazy. But it gets to the point where, you know, Toshiro has to knock her out, and he sees that pretty much she was so determined to try to stop him, try to pretty much defeat him, that she was holding on to her freaking sword, damn near bleeding. Toshiro's like, Gen, you son of a bitch. I told you, if you make her spill blood, I will kill you. And it's crazy. Bless me. It's crazy because you have it to where Gen is not even using his Bankai in this fight. And it gets to the point where he just straight up goes to attack Momo and almost tries to kill her, but Rengiku, best girl Rengiku, gets in the way, which I know at the end of the arc, I'm just going off tangent. At the end of the arc, you get this funny stuff and everything with her, which I feel like she's gonna be comedic but slash serious character. But I'm already living. But I think I don't care what anybody says. Rengiku is waifu material, and I don't care. She is one of the best looking, if not one of the hottest anime women in all of damn anime. Let's get something straight. Rengiku is a whole snack. Damn it, why can I not be in the Bleach world, man? I'd be hitting on Rengiku for days, yo. Whatever. I can talk about a little bit about my fetish for Rengiku later. It's how much I feel about freaking Nico Robin, bro. But anyways, Rengiku actually protects Momo from getting killed. And Gen's like, oh, interesting. So he walks away. And we actually kind of find out some backstory, too, about Rengiku. A little bit. So Rengiku was kind of lived in this poor district area, and Gen went there and in a way kind of saved her. So does she have feelings for Gen, too? What the fudge? But apparently, her and Gen lived together. They were kids, and they pretty much were raised up together. So of course she has an affection for Gen, and she's always wondering, and even at the end of the arc, she wonders, like, what's your purpose, Gen? Why do you continue to walk away? Like, what's this thing? So I'm guessing Rengiku's whole thing is, by the time the end of the arc happens, you have to wonder, what is she gonna have to do to save Gen? And everything from himself. But I think Gen's too far gone at this point. But it's an interesting story point for Rengiku, which it's very interesting. You know, I thought she would just be the eye looker character of the series and stuff like that, from what I would always see of her, you know, chick with the big boobs, big ass, yada yada. The eye that every damn character, or the eye of every damn character will probably look like, oh damn, she's hot. And every freaking guy would be like, I love her. And they have some sort of obsessed, like, crazed fetish for her, and stuff like that. But she actually has an interesting, like, little side story going on and stuff like that. Just of wondering, like, why Gen did this, why is he doing this, and stuff like that, and yada yada yada. So, you know, it's insane. It's insane. It's crazy just with that whole thing going on, and that just only leads to the bigger picture of what's going on. Now, in the training with Ichigo, Yoriichi eventually find out Yoriichi tells him, like, you know, Uehara used to be a Soul Society captain, a Soul Reaper captain, and she used to be leader of the Stealth Squad and stuff like that. Hold on a quick second, guys. So it pretty much goes to show you that there's more to Uehara that meets the mind, and even by the time we get to the end of the arc, there's a lot more we have to question him, like, whoa, wait. Are you good, or are you, like, a bad guy? But seemingly so far, he's a good guy, but you have to wonder, with what I saw this Eisen plot twist, you know, I'm a little suspicious of Uehara, even though he might look like he might have the right of mind, because he knows what he's done is wrong and stuff like that. So, yes. Now, we actually do, and I'm kind of going over the place now. Now, we kind of actually get a missing part of the backstory about Rukia, and it applies to Ganju and Kakeru. And it's about their brother, which, yes, I remember, it's a brother, Kion. So we find out in this backstory, Rukia is remembering. We kind of get a picture of why Kion kind of reminds Rukia of Ichigo in a way, mostly because they kind of have the same determination slash similar, like, structure hair, is just his hair is black. But we find out that when Rukia first entered into Utake's squad, pretty much, you know, everybody kind of, like, ripped on her because she was part of the Kuchiki, you know, family line, and people are like, oh, she's too spoiled and too rich and stuff like that. But, you know, Kion was the one person that always supported her and was always there for her. Now, he ended up having a wife named Miyaki, and this is a tragic backstory, because damn near every anime freaking has a tragic backstory, where we see that, over time, Rukia freaking connected and she looked up to Miyaki and Kaion and everything. And in a way, Kaion was like another brother she never really truly had, and stuff like that. But things go to shit when Miyaki, who's on pretty much the reconnaissance team, goes out and they ended up running into a hollow. She comes back and she was the only one alive, but she ends up killing some of the men in Utake's squad. And we find out she's being pretty much possessed and controlled by a hollow. And the only way to defeat and eventually gets to the point where the hollow ended up, leaving the body like it's some sort of parasite. Like it controls the body and it's a parasite and everything. And it was all sort of, it was really disturbing. At the same time, really sad because Kaion tells Utake and Rukia, listen, let me handle this fight. I want to get revenge for what this hollow did to my wife. And it gets to the point where his sword breaks and he's just fighting with his bare hands. And Utake holds back Rukia because Rukia wants to help Kaion, but Utake is like, no, we have to let him respect himself, and we have to have him have the honor. He wants to fight as a warrior. He wants to have an honor, which is a pretty much Japanese traditional type of culture back in their olden days where samurais, they would fight and die with honor, and they wouldn't rely upon help and stuff like that. But obviously, Kaion ends up being killed, and he ends up being possessed by the hollow, which then lets Rukia have to kill him because it's the only way to save him. A little bit of his human self comes back and he's like, thank you for not getting involved in honoring my request for honor and stuff like that. And it's a very damn sad backstory for Rukia. And she ultimately in this whole thing, and like I said, how I compare it to the freaking Enies Lobby arc, it's like how Robin doesn't want her friends to do all this for her. It's similar how Rukia feels like she doesn't want blood to be spilled just for her cause, for her case. Now, an interesting tidbit we get in this freaking damn arc at the end is, for some damn reason, they move up the execution date for Rukia the following day. And I'm like, hold on, they had about 3 days till their execution to wait. And all of a sudden, now they moved it up to the next day. And I'm like, who the hell is pulling the strings? I'm like, at this point, I'm either like, okay, something's going on here. I'm like, it's either Biyakuya who's doing this, or it's either Gen. And this even points to the fact later when Rukia is on the way to the execution area, what is it? The execution area, Gen shows up and is like, I could let you free. And she actually gets her hopes up. She's like, wait. And then that's when she remembers. She's like, why did I let him freaking make me believe that I had a chance to live when I was already content with dying and everything? That was I'm like, geez Louise. I'm like, at that point, that shows like, okay, yeah, this motherfucker doing this for some sort of reason. He's the bad guy. He is the bad guy. And then I was presumably wrong by the time I get to the end of the arc, but hey, it's okay. Now, in the meantime, what happened is Orihime actually had to, in this whole issue with Kurosuchi, Kurosuchi saw what Orihime was doing with pretty much her soul powers, and he wanted to experiment on her, which again gives you creepy face. It's not already bad, the guy looks creepy as shit. But Urayu uses his Squad 11 guy and say, take her to safety. She gets to Squad 11 and she actually mates up with Kenpachi and Yachiro, which Orihime pretty much hangs out with them, and Kenpachi and Yachiro pretty much helps out with Orihime's request. And since Ichigo beat them, well, Kenpachi's like, well, the best way to go fight Ichigo again is, well, hey, let's stick with his friend. So he ends up freeing Ganju, Chad, and Urayu, and Orihime is already there and stuff like that. So I definitely do like what we get now. All of a sudden, they're running around, and Kenpachi and his group run into two of the captains and their lieutenants, which are Tozen and Komamura. Now, or Hime and the others go on ahead while Kenpachi and his two men actually take on the lieutenants. But Kenpachi truly takes on Tozen and Komamura. And this fight was damn near epic because freaking you had some badass lines where freaking Kenpachi is like, please, this is just going to be a damn warm-up fight. I'm like, shit. So, and this is when we get the phase where some of the captains, they actually start fighting with one another, because even we see some of the other captains be like, I don't know if this execution is the right thing. I don't know if it's, the right thing to happen. But Kenpachi, he's really only helping because of Ichigo and stuff like that. But you get to a fight. The fight is dope as shit, to the point you get where Tozen unleashes his Bankai. And we find out his Bankai is kind of similar to what if you watch the anime Fairy Tail, what when Urza fought the one chick where she lost her senses and everything. But whatever. All of Kenpachi's senses are gone, except the pretty much feeling the pain. And the thing is, how he ends up beating Tozen is he uses the places where Tozen strikes him to be able to defeat him and take him down. Then that's when we see Komamura show up and enjoy and get in the fight. But we find out he's not a human. He's actually like a dog-looking creature. I guess you could say a demi-human in a way, because that's what they kind of call those characters in the thing, and stuff like that. And you kind of have a little backstory with Tozen and Komamura about, just the justice and everything, what's the whole thing about, because Tozen's whole thing is, what's the most way to get to the least senseless slaughter of blood, and everything, because he's kind of a justice character, and everything, which again, like I said, Kenpachi ends up kind of beating these guys and stuff like that. So yes, now in the meantime, Renji is done with his training, but he ends up going to go try to save Rukia ahead of time. But that's when he has his matchup with Biyakuya Kushiki. And this fight was really good. He unleashes his Bankai, but to Biyakuya, it's pretty much nothing. Now, the thing is, Biyakuya makes a mention of how strong Renji has gotten in a short period of time. But he says his Bankai is not enough for his Bankai. And we see how Biyakuya's Bankai is pretty much just got these like Sakura petal flow that just utterly just take out Renji's Bankai, which his Bankai is kind of more just traditional of what we've seen, but it's more of like a hard rock snake, which is kind of hard to move for Renji, which kind of keeps him kind of in the wide open. And pretty much I love the parallel here of when you have it, because Renji is a changed dude, because Ichigo opened his eyes because he saw the determination in Ichigo's eyes and his soul pretty much of wanting to save Rukia. And I love this whole panel in the anime where side by side you have him doing the same thing, pretty much saying the same identical thing, and Renji isn't gonna give up on saving Rukia. He's doing this, and obviously this hits something within Biyakuya, but not yet to the extent when we get to the fight with Ichigo, and stuff like that. But Biyakuya ends up defeating Renji and says that's the whole thing now. And then you have the scene where freaking you have the scene where the whole thing where what's his face, you have it to where Rukia's at the execution ground. I forgot what the execution thing was called, but it takes the form of a phoenix later on. But you have it to where freaking Byakuya show up. It's kind of like Rukia looks into his eyes, and it's kind of like a last hope of like, is my brother going to save me and stuff like that. But he's just like, and obviously that's when Rukia knows like he's not going to and stuff like that. And you even get later on when Ichigo shows up, he asked Byakuya, and even I was asking the damn question. I'm like, bro, that's your fucking sister, yo. Aren't you gonna do something to save her? And even Ichigo, in their fight, ends up asking this question, like, dude, she's your sister. Wouldn't you go out of your way to go save her? Because we know how much Ichigo loves his sisters in Karin and Yuzu and stuff like that, and how much he went out of their way. He would do anything to save them and stuff like that. He's asking this man, he's like, dude, your sister's being put on trial. You're not going to save her? That's your flesh and blood, pretty much, and legitimately in a way that she kind of is. which we'll get into the end of the arc and stuff like that. But this whole thing of like, the morals of doing what's right and wrong and stuff like that. Also, in the meantime, Toshiro found out that the reason why they're moving up, whoever decided to move up the execution, is so they can obtain this power that the execution reasoning, the execution. I know I should have got my notes on what it was, but I do have notes on some of the key story points, but I forgot what its name. Some of these names are damn hard to pronounce anyway, so whatever. The execution, MacGuffin would give like this unlimited power to this individual that's seeking for it and stuff like that. But I'll talk about that at the end with the plot twist and everything. But all of a sudden, we have it to where Kyoraka, Utake, and Ichigo all saber. Now we know that Kyoraka and Utake was definitely against this whole execution thing, but we also see that Kyoraka, he was also against it, just from the fact that he just felt like this isn't right, like especially with the fact that they're moving up the date. Something's not adding up here, something's not right. And Ichigo shows up and he takes out the freaking embodiment of a phoenix, which has like over like 1,000 like freaking hold on a quick second, guys. Okay, back. But like I was saying, he's freaking going against an embodiment of a phoenix, which it looked badass. But in this whole thing, it's about like 1,000 Kento. And he overpowers it with utter ease, man. Crazy. I was just like, yeah, Ichigo's on a whole damn another level. He ends up saving Rukia again. And even though Rukia's like, you idiot, what are you doing and stuff like that? I didn't need you to save me. And Ichigo's like, yeah, whatever. But he's like, I'm here to save you, Rukia. A great moment, the reuniting of it. And I love how Renji shows up. He gives her to Renji, which he gave him a comedic scene where he just throws her and Renji just runs off. And then this is when we see how much stronger this dude Ichigo is. He takes out 3 lieutenants all in one damn hit. And without his damn sword, without his freaking Zanpakuto. Like, easily, he's giving like fist, freaking punch guts. I'm just like, how strong is this mother effer? And this is when we kind of get split up into the different fights, everything. We have it to where Utake and Kyoraka, they all go up against Captain Yamato. And just the introduction of this, again, it's one of these old guys with the long beard. He reminds me of Netero, to be honest. It's always these things with animes. They always have these old guys with the long beards, especially in the Shonen Jump animes and stuff like that, But you have it to where this dude, he shows up, and you had it to where Kyoraka's lieutenant was there, and she was utterly just done. Not even crazy. And this dude was like, please, I don't have time to deal with pretty much children or an infant. That's what he called her. He called her an infant, and she just went straight to the ground, and she was just done. I'm like, bruh, these guys, when they release their soul pressure, these guys can damn near freaking keep these guys on their freaking feet. They just let them go, and they're just done. So you have it where Kyoraka takes her away. He's like, listen, we'll take care of this. Don't worry about it. And we find out that Yamato is disappointed in Utake and Kyoraka because he sees them as his children, because they were the first 2 members of the Soul Society to be captains and everything. Another badass thing is we see is that these 2 guys, they're like the 2 only like guys to wield 2 dual wielded Putenka. How do you pronounce it? I can't say it. Zanpakuto. I can't pronounce it the right way, so I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Yoriichi shows up, and she actually starts fighting Soifon, who we get some backstory about Soifon. And Yoriichi is the fact that Soifon pretty much looked up to Yoriichi. Funny enough, I was watching the dub over and over. Now, I don't watch the sub. I know I watched the dub. hate on me in the comment section. I don't care but fuck. I like the dub. I think the dub is fine for what it was. But the one thing I was like just getting kind of tired of here is like freaking Soifon was like, Yoraichi, Yoraichi, I will defeat you, Yoraichi. You see this, Yoraichi? You say that? I told you I'm stronger than you, Yoraichi. I'm just like, dude, can you just shut up? You keep saying her name and everything, and I'm just losing. I'm like, I'm like, you really love you some Yoraichi, which I'll get into in a second and everything. But you know, it's a cool thing because we see Yoraichi. She's a former Stealth Squad captain, and Soifon, she's the current she's the current Stealth Squad captain, and she's actually getting the upper hand on Yoraichi for a bit. But Yoraichi starts releasing up her true power, and we don't see what it is, but it looks damn near strong. But we get some backstory about Yoraichi and Soifon, and the fact that pretty much Yoraichi took Soifon in, and Soifon has an admiration or respect, and she looks up to Yoraichi. And pretty much their fight ends is because Soifon, because we know that Yoraichi left for 100 years, and Soifon, the fight pretty much stops and kind of ends on, you know, a fairly easy point, because Soifon was just upset. She's just like, why didn't you just take me with you? I would have gone with you no matter where you would have went. Which it's a very emotional backstory there, because you can clearly see Soifon loves Yoraichi. Like, that's, you know, her master, her friend, somebody she looked a lot up to. And, you know, she felt abandoned by the fact that Yoraichi just upped and left for all those 100 years. And she thought, no, she just left me because she was done with me. And she wanted to go with her badly. So, you know, it was a very sad, emotional scene. Now, obviously, the biggest fight here that, you know, this arc contains is Ichigo versus Biyakuya. My God, this fight was epic as shit. And you have this whole dichotomy, this whole dynamic of, you know, Ichigo doing what's in his best interest to save his friend Rukia. But you have Biyakuya, who only wants to stick to the law because he doesn't want to break that law and tarnish his family's name in doing so. And you have these two dynamics clashing with one another, of Ichigo just doing this. And it's kind of an eye-opening thing for Biyakuya in this whole fight scene of who gives a fuck about the law. If it's to save somebody who means dearly to you, who means so much to you, you'd break that law. And that was the one thing that I love how in the talk, freaking Ichigo tells him, listen, you may have your reasons for doing what you need to do, and you want to stick to your law, but I don't give a crap. If it was me, I'm going against that law 100% to protect somebody, to save somebody I deeply care about. And this kind of starts the eye-opening effect. Well, that's it takes place at the end of the battle. That whole scene, but it was a whole freaking dichotomy, whole thing. You have it where Ichigo actually is a lot stronger than he looks and everything, and he's actually getting the upper hand. And then when he releases his Bankai, because you know, it freaking outpowers, you know, freaking what's his faces, Byakuya's Bankai for a time being. Like, he's moving fast, and then the way his Bankai looks is it's just a sword, and then he's got a new like type of cape area, which he looks like his Zangetsu. He looks like Zangetsu based on the robe he's wearing, but he's a lot more faster. He's getting around, but that's when you have it to where Byakuya, he channels his Bankai and just kind of creeps like a freaking dome with swords around, and he's a lot more faster. He's actually getting the upper hand on Ichigo, and damn near is about to kill him because he uses his move where he pretty much paralyzes Ichigo. But all of a sudden, this mass starts forming around Ichigo, and we see that evil persona of Ichigo from a few episodes earlier in the arc starts to take place. Now, apparently, I was told that this is called Hollow Ichigo, and this man, Hollow Ichigo, absolutely destroys Byakuya. Byakuya is no match for Hollow Ichigo and stuff like that. And I'm just like, what the hell? Ichigo takes this different persona. He's like, you know, he's going crazy and stuff like that. You know, this Hollow Ichigo is going crazy, but Ichigo doesn't want to win like that. So he's like, I said to stop, and you're not freaking doing this. And he rips off the mask, and everything. So you have to wonder what the hell is going on. In a way, it's a little bit of what Aizen will explain in his final plan, and stuff like that. But you have to wonder, like, can this evil persona, this hollow Ichigo, take over Ichigo's body 100%? Because if that's the case, this is a fucking problem. So I wonder if they're going to go more into this and shit like that. And I also have to wonder, will Ichigo be able to control it and be able to have a hollow transformation form where he's in control? Very interesting stuff right then and there. But again, you have it to where they have one final clash. Great stuff. You know, you have the whole thing about Ichigo saying, listen, tell me why you didn't save your sister. And it's the whole thing of, like I said earlier, Biyakuya not wanting to go against the law to break the family name. And he goes more into depth when he tells Rukia about that stuff, and it makes more sense. But by the time I ended this arc, I'm like, I have a lot more respect. I actually do like Biyakuya, especially when you get a little bit more about his backstory and stuff like that. So let's get into this whole damn near plot twist shit that's, you know, going on here. Also, I forgot to mention too, the others actually get to the top. And the thing is, mostly they kind of have a focus on Orihime and how much, and it's the whole thing of just this power output that is happening. The other thing about leaving, but Orihime, she wants to stay because she has belief that she has belief in Ichigo that he will win, and she wants to make sure she sees him, you know, overcome the victory. And I do like how after he wins the battle, you know, she pretty much expresses how much she believed in him that she could do it, which is this moment in my eyes. Now it sets up the Ichigo Orihime relationship to where Orihime is definitely in love with Ichigo. And also too, again, we saw the whole thing of the fact that Renji is also in love with Rukia here, so they kind of get their individual ships there. But this moment here kind of showed me, and I was watching this, I'm like, yeah, your Orihime, she's in love with Ichigo, bro. She likes him a lot. So yes. Anyways, let's get into this plot twist that legitimately makes this one of the best arcs. That, mind you, I was staying up till damn near 1 a.m. to freaking see how this arc was playing out. Because the moment this shit was happening, I was like, no, I can't stop. I only got a few more episodes I left to go. I gotta watch this shit. So, Toshiro and Rangiku, they kind of seal, mostly Toshiro, they kind of seal Momo in this room that she ends up breaking out of. And they go to the Central 46 members area. Now, it ends up being locked up, but Toshiro cuts it. No alarms go off. They get in there. Lo and behold, we see all the 46 members are dead. Just dead. And it isn't recently dead. Toshiro looks at one of their blood and he's like, this blood is old. It's already like breaking apart as I touch my hand. So he's like, something's happened to where this event took place like days before, and he's putting the pictures together. He just can't put it ultimately together and stuff like that. All of a sudden, we have Izuru show up, and he leads Rangiku and Toshiro out. And it gets to the point where Izuru is like, you know, I think you made a mistake with following me because, you know, Momo might be there. And that's when Toshiro, he goes to leave, and Rangiku has her fight with Izuru. Rangiku ends up beating Izuru and stuff like that. But you have it to where Momo's already there. Gen shows her surprising. I'm like, okay, here we go. Here's the plot twist that Gen did it all. I thought Gen was going to impale her and everything. All of a sudden, Gen makes Momo follow her to this area. And lo and behold, she's like, why don't you turn around? There's someone that would like to talk to you. And freaking Momo turns around, and lo and behold, Aizen in the living in the flesh is right there. Momo is absolutely shocked, and she's like, Captain Aizen, you're finally here. She hugs him. She's talking about, you know, I feel Captain Aizen. You know, it feels just like he felt. You know, his smell smells just like he felt. And, you know, the thing is, you know, Aizen's like, I'm sorry for worrying you, Momo, yada, you know, I had to do this for my reasons and stuff like that to find out the truth and everything. And, you know, you have it to where Momo's emotionally just at this point where she's just like happy, overjoyed. Then the plot twist happens and she gets impaled. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Momo, but I didn't want to do that to you. But, you know, You let me with no choice. You played your part. Also, just to let you know, Gen is also my lieutenant, which we find out in the past, in the backstory. Aizen, when he was a captain in the backstory, Gen was his lieutenant before Gen became a captain. And then it now makes sense, like, there's no reason why they'd be beefing. He would always follow him, no matter what. Toshiro gets there, and my God, dude, Aizen is a completely different character than what we knew. And he goes on to make the mention of the fact, like, oh, yeah, Momo, she's over there pretty much dead. I probably should have just cut her into pieces. Like, I should have just cut her into pieces and hit her away. And I heard that. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this motherfucker is psychopath. I'm like, this dude, like, he should have cut up Momo like that. I'm like, and the crazy thing is, like, I was hoping, like, Momo, please don't die. Momo, please don't die. Because I grew to like her character a lot and everything. And stuff like that. And then Toshiro freaking sees Momo's pretty much carcass. And he turns around, he's like, Aizen, you're gonna freaking pay. He powers up into his Bankai, which he has like ice elements in his Bankai, but Aizen takes it out easily. And pretty much that's what happens with Aizen going on. He pretty much one-shots everybody going forward. All of a sudden, we have it to where Unohana shows up, and that's when Aizen explains everything. It's like, oh yeah, this was all a facade and everything, you know, it was all a fake. You know, my Zapakuto pretty much makes in a way, it hypnotizes people to thinking what is real and what's not. In a way, I feel like it's kind of, it's really hard to explain. Like, even when I was watching the episode, I'm like, so you're just kind of making illusions. That's what it means. That's what it looks like. It just, I don't know why the anime didn't specify it. I don't know why Kubo didn't just say, oh, it's just illusions or something like that, you know. But that's what it felt like to me. He makes illusions and it tricks people and stuff like that. And, you know, we see it to where he escapes and everything. Now, Unohana tells her lieutenant, listen, you need to tell everybody what the hell's going on here. They need to know before something happens. All of a sudden, we also find out that Tozen actually is working alongside Gen and Aizen. He's a part of that. And they actually transport Renji and Rukia. And pretty much, Aizen's like, listen, Ninja, you better give me Rukia right now. Otherwise, I will kill your ass. And he's completely different and everything. I'm just like, I'm over here shocked. I'm just like, dude, what am I watching right now? What the hell am I watching? But like I said, Unohana's lieutenant gets out to all the news, to all the freaking squad captains and everybody, all the lieutenants around, even Ichigo's group, that guess what? We've been played. Freaking Aizen's the main bad guy this entire time. He and Gen were the traitors this entire time. They fooled us all. So Renji tries to fight back against Aizen, but he's no match. Ichigo shows up to protect Aizen and Rukia from almost dying. And then you get this scene to where they're about to team up. You get the freaking music, Ichigo's theme playing when he gets all serious, and it's a badass moment and everything. I'm like, okay, let's go. We're getting Ichigo versus Aizen right here, probably part one. I'm ready. I'm ready. And then he's going in for a charge. He's like, ah! And then all of a sudden, the music in the background playing and shit like that. And all of a sudden, Aizen blocks it, and the music just cuts. I'm like, oh shit, he's fucked. And of course, he gets screwed. Ichigo gets screwed. I'm just like, there ain't nobody that can beat this guy. Legitimately, I'm like, you gotta get an old man to freaking take this guy out. Holy hell. And then you have all these other guys show up. Like you have Komamura. He shows up. He gets one shot at and then plus he's also shocked that Tozen has joined him. And and because of this questions of value that he had about, you know, what Tozen had and everything. And I'm just like, my goodness, you have all these other characters start to show up and everything and stuff like that. And that's when Aizen explains pretty much his plan. And he goes on to explain that he pretty much orchestrated all this shit. He knew everything was set in stone in place. This man legitimately killed the Central 46 members to get Rukia to come back. It freaking gave Biyakuya and Renji a way to come take her back because it's under the orders and everything. He sets everything in some. He knew that Ichigo and company were going to come save. They were going to use Kakeru and all this stuff. He planned this shit out one by one, one by one. I'm just like, this guy is a mastermind. When he was explaining every step of the plan, how he knew how everything would be going, with the exception of the fact that the Toshiro thing, it didn't go to my liking because I thought Toshiro would have had to kill her, but whatever, I did it myself, so I'm good. And everything. And I'm just like, this isn't even life anymore. This guy literally knew everything that was going to happen. And the reason why he wanted to get to Rukia, to kill Rukia, and at the same time, he's holding Rukia. He wants to grab Rukia by, and he wants to do this because he wants to be all powerful and everything. And he realizes that Soul Reapers have a wall that they pretty much can't get past, but they can break it by going through this route of doing hollowification. Hollowification. It's by either giving the powers of a Shinigami to a hollow or a Shinigami transforming into a hollow. Similarly, what we see with frickin' Ichigo in the fight against Biyakuya, kind of what that type of thing going on. And we find out the person who was kind of integral into making this was Uehara. And when I heard that, I was like, fudge. But we find out that Uehara, he knew that this wasn't the right way to go, but then that's when he planted in this thing called the Hyoguchi, Hyoguchi in Rukia. Don't know why he did it, but because of it, this pretty much made Rukia human and everything and stuff like that. So, Aizen's like, yeah, that's what I've been looking for. He ends up going into Rukia's soul, taking it out of her. Thank goodness it doesn't kill her, but he looks like he's about to kill her. But all of a sudden, and that's when Biyakuya comes in, saves her and stuff like that. And then that's when everybody shows up and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, we see the sky cracking, and we see a bunch of Menos Grande. These pillars of light just show up, and they're taking Tozen, Gen, and Aizen all the way. And Aizen, he takes off his glasses, breaks them, freaking puts his hair back, and kind of looks like the Aizen we see in modern day, or what I've seen in images and stuff like that. He has a completely different character. He looks damn near like an antagonist. Holy shit, man. And he's pretty much like, I will find a power to be atop of everyone, a power atop of gods and everything. I'm just like, what the hell, man? This is freaking this is getting crazy, dude. I'm like, this is over. They end up leaving, and this is when I'm guessing we're getting the integral main bad guy to this overarching story. The aftermath is people are healing. We find out that Toshiro and Momo, they are going to make it. They aren't going to die. So I was happy about that. And stuff like that. And we get a discussion between Biyakuya and Rukia. And we find out that Biyakuya had a wife named Hisana, who is Rukia's blood-related sister. I was like, what? And Hisana looks exactly like Rukia as well. The thing about Hisana is she was kind of a poor person, and Biyakuya went against his family's wishes, married her, and then he even took in Rukia. And after he took in Rukia, he didn't want to disappoint the family name so much anymore that he just went by the law, and that's why he strictly was fine with having Rukia be killed. But that's when Biyakuya's like, your friend Ichigo was right. I probably should have fought more for you than just doing that, than just following the law because you're my family and stuff like that. So in a way, Biyakuya and Rukia, they're not. You can't consider them stepbrother, stepsister. They're pretty much brother / sister-in-law with each other, which isn't crazy. Now, originally, I thought where it was going. I'm like, oh, did he marry freaking Rukia's mom or something like that? And that's like Biyakuya is her father, but no, They keep it as the brother situation, which I'm fine with. And he apologizes to Rukia by saying, "I'm sorry that I pretty much didn't do more to save you and stuff like that." But I don't blame him. Everybody was fooled in this whole operation. But you get the aftermath of the arc and stuff like that. You know, pretty much everybody is cool with Ichigo and his friends because now they realize, and they even call them like they're the people that saved the Soul Society, and stuff like that. So yeah, you get a scene where Rukia, pretty much has a discussion with Kakeru and Ganju about what ultimately happened to their brother, but Kakeru already got the story and she already knew, like, no, you don't have to tell me. I already knew everything about my brother, and stuff like that. And yeah, but you have it to where Ichigo and the others, they go back to their human world, or their world, but Rukia is going to stay there, which I'm perfectly fine with. She has a new purpose and everything. And you know, they get back home. Ichigo has kind of a little bit of discussion with Ueharu, and Ueharu is like, "Listen, I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier." And Ichigo's like, "Dude, I'm not mad at you. I wish you would have told me this earlier, but it's fine for what it is," and stuff like that. So everybody goes back home and everything, and that's kind of where we're left off. And you know, man, what a really damn good arc. What a really damn good arc. This had the heart, the emotion, the emotional, you know, stuff, the great moments, and then just such a phenomenal plot twist. One of the best anime plot twists I've ever experienced. And I've watched a lot of anime where there's a bunch of plot twists, but this shit was very freaking, it was one of the biggest plot twists, top 5 plot twist in anime history. One of the best. The Soul Society arc as a whole, like I said in the start of the video, it was a great arc. It was beautiful with how Kubo did this arc. This was the arc that got me to be like, I'm hooked. I'm a Bleach fan for good. This arc was great. You know, there's still a lot of mysteries, like what is Aizen's true goal? Why is he doing all this shit? And why does he want to be that strong? You know, Ichigo's hollow form. Will he be able to maintain it? You know, really freaking interesting stuff that it's like, it's going to be very damn interesting to see where it's going to go, but we'll have to pick it up in the next episode and stuff like that. So yes, now in the next arc review, since I'm watching the anime, I am going to be doing the next arc, which is a filler arc called the Bount Arc. Now, apparently the Bount Arc, from what I've seen from people and hear from people, it is not really widely liked. It seems like, to me, it looks like it's hated, and mostly because this is a filler arc. You probably are asking me, why am I wasting my time with a filler arc instead of me just going to the Arrancar arc when I could just go to that? But you know, since I'm watching the anime and I'm watching everything in order, I'm gonna do the filler arc, and I want to talk about the filler arc to get my thoughts to see, do I like the filler arc, or am I gonna end up hating it like everybody else, I guess, doesn't like it. But in the next video, I will be talking about the Bount Arc, and apparently, I'm guessing, just like the Soul Society arc, there is 2 parts to it. But based on how long it is, which goes from episode 64 to episode freaking 119, I might have to split it into 2 different arc videos to give my thoughts. But yes. But anyways, I enjoyed the Soul Society arc so far. Of all the arcs in Bleach, this is my favorite arc by far, and stuff like that. And I would say this is definitely in my top 5 arcs of anime all time. If not my top 5, definitely in my top 10. So yes. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the Soul Society arc for Bleach as a whole, your thoughts on the second half, your thoughts on the Aizen plot twist, all this other stuff that happened and stuff like that, and things like that. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your day or night or when checking this video. Until then, guys, stay safe out there. Peace.